You know, we've been talking about the family, and we talked about husbands, we talked about wives. And parents, you need to understand that God gives us approximately 18 years to train our children in the way that they should go. This training consists of training in the principles and truths that must be practiced, developing the attitudes, habits, beliefs, and ideas to represent God's character and carry out God's plan for their lives. That's our role. And it takes 18 years, and we have to constantly remind ourselves, what am I actually teaching? You know, am I teaching my children, my people, to accomplish these goals? Or have I been teaching a formula that the world has given me that I should be teaching for them to become productive and be prepared by the time they're ready to move out on their own? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves. And it's a very important question to ask because we have to recognize how we were programmed. What were we taught that was important, that needs to be applied in our lives to be a productive citizen, to be effective in life, and to be successful. You know, I had a lot of information that was good information, but it wasn't information that suited who I am and what I want out of life. And I find myself trying to accomplish things for a long time that really wasn't me. I just didn't know it wasn't me until God put me in a position to know that something was wrong and asking the right questions of what does it take? You know, what is it you're trying to teach me? To really realize what it takes for Curtis Palmer. You know, how can Curtis Palmer make the world a better place? You know, how can I be effective? What are the things that are valuable to me? I experienced them through my family life, but they were such everyday things, they didn't seem like nothing. See, my parents were teaching me to be beneficial to others, to help those in need. You needed a place to stay, you could stay at our house. You know, there was one time there was 13 kids in my house. We ate 3 meals a day. It seemed like a bad thing at the time, but as I look back, that's what I do. Those are the things that fulfilled me. My parents were teaching me just by being who they are. But we've been trained not to value the training that we're getting at home because it is so everyday. And we think that it's the institutions and all those places that are supposed to be actually teaching us. They're just supposed to be giving you a little extra as you try to determine how you want to get resources to do what you want to do. But as far as life is concerned, that's the family's job, not school. But once you go to school, you start getting into education, you start to look down on your family and your parents as these slow people that don't know nothing. So today we're going to talk about children. We're coming from Colossians chapter 3, verse 20. I'm sorry, verse 18. Wives, be subject to your husbands as is fitting in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and do not be embittered against them. Children, be obedient to your parents in all things, for this is well-pleasing to the Lord. The objective is we want to understand from God's perspective the role of children in the family. It says, behold, children are a gift of the Lord. The fruit of the womb is a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior, so are the children of one's youth. How blessed is the man whose quiver is full of them. They will not be ashamed, when they speak with their enemies in the gate. Psalm 127, 3-5. He says, children are a blessing from the Lord. Some people talk sad when they hear somebody got over 3 children. But see, that's another deception of the enemy. How can you populate the world with godly people if you only have ungodly people raising children? That's why God tells his people, his women, that you will be saved through childbearing. Not saved through salvation, but you will be delivered from the stigma of leading mankind into sin. The stigma of leading mankind into sin. So, if you don't do that, you will raise children that will constantly be leading people into sin. Distractions, unproductivity, immorality. You get that? If you are fighting against the Word of God, you're being used by the enemy to cause distraction, to cause chaos, to cause confusion, division. All things that are necessary for Satan to accomplish his goals. So I want you to ask yourself, children, am I a distraction in my family for the family standard and goals? Or am I a value or a benefit of helping my family goals and standards grow? The first commandment you get from God is to obey your parents. Because everyone comes here as a child, right? No one comes here as a parent, right? Everybody comes here as a child. The first word from God is obey your parents if you're raised in a family of believers. Because the Word of God is for believers. Those that are not born into families of God, guess what instruction they get from God? None. None. As go the parent, so go the child. The law is what's designed for those that don't know the Lord to help them keep order in their households, the community, and the world. Very important that you understand that. The goal. Understand obeying parents from God's perspective. You see that right there? That's not the way, parents, to get your children to obey. How many of you all are persuaded like that, children, by your parents to obey them? They try to drive you some kind of way. Take you to Chuck E. Cheese. Obey. The word obedience literally means submission to what is heard. Verbal command. How many times should you have to speak it to get it done? Ooh, somebody learned that lesson, huh? After one, you're in trouble, aren't you? Why? Two. Ooh, two is trouble. Oh, we assume you may have not heard, but we know you heard.
That's right.
This is God's command, young people. This is to you. Obey means to submit to what is heard. A child who gets his own way brings shame to his mother. Any of you mothers been shamed in here lately? Being shamed by your children? Were they allowed to have their way at some time in their life? You may be the blame. A child who gets his own way brings shame to his mother. Proverbs 29:15. See, no, they say the proof is in the pudding. We talked about that the other week. You can find out the result of what you believe and what you think by what you produce. God tells us how we get certain results. Now, we just got to decide whether we want to believe God or believe ourselves. See, this is the harsh realities we have to come to terms with. We have to come to terms with what am I producing by the way I do things. See, that's the reality. You can call it whatever you want to call it. If your child doesn't move when you tell them, that's disobedience. If you have to threaten them, that's not obedience. That's fear of whatever you threaten them with. Obedience is willful submission to the authority figure, and you do what you're told once you know what you were told. There's teaching going on now that is teaching families how to have healthy families. One of the ways to have a healthy family is to allow your children to disobey you. That's not from God. That's not from God. There's consequences to everything that we do. But the world taught time out. Chill out. Now come on. God only gave one remedy for driving out disobedience. He said the rod of correction. Now, what has the world told you about the rod of correction as parents? Say what?
Child abuse.
Child abuse. What do your intelligent children tell you now if they really got to the rebellious stage and you talk about the rod? What do they tell you? I'm calling 911. There are some children that do it. You've lost control. It's just like a dog. If you own a dog and that dog bites you or threatens to bite you, there's a common understanding. You have to lay him down. I'll be in the grocery store sometime and I'll be like, Lord, please help me. I just want to walk up to this mother and say, listen, you just really need to take them home into the bathroom. Don't do it out here. Take them home and give them a good whooping. I said, I'm going to tell you how to do it so you don't go to jail. You lay them across your knee, you lock them in, or don't tie them down because that's abuse, but if you lock your legs around them good, they know how big they are. And you find that cushion that God has given them. Get you a nice sturdy spoon. So long that don't break. It ain't going to break no matter how hard it is. And just wear that thing out. I mean, listen, they will scream like they die, but that's one place I know won't kill them. What? That's so cruel. No, you have to understand. They have to realize that this is a place they never want to attend again. Those places where I thought I had it and was trying to do my own thing, God took me to the places I won't dare even think about going anymore. And whatever sacrifices I need to make not to get there, I make them. Because I understood the pain of where it would take me. See, your children don't understand that. And you know what's so sad? They're going to have to experience that before they leave here. They're going to have to learn that there are some places I don't want to go, even if I have the freedom to go. I choose not to go. Children, be obedient to your parents in all things, for this is well-pleasing to the Lord. That's Colossians 3:20. If you are blessed to be born into a family of believers, your first commandment from God is to obey your parents in all things. How are you doing, children, so far? How many of you children find yourself obedient? You're obeying your parents in all things. I don't see no hands. So what does a parent do? That look familiar, y'all? Parents, that look familiar to any of your parents? Children, does that look familiar to any of you all? Well, she's rolling her eyes, popping her lips. For somebody to say something she don't like. See, a lot of times, like I said earlier, we don't know the danger we in half the time. We just flunk through life like we're in control of something. Don't even realize how merciful God's been to us. See, that right there got your eyes straightened up quick when I was growing up. Oh, you need me to fix your eyes for you? That's all right, I got you. It's just some things, like I said, they take you to places where you just, look, that ain't even an option here. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to go down in the woods, way away, where nobody can hear, and holler to them. And I ain't going to holler too loud, but them jokers got a tendency to hear everything.
Yeah.
Oh, what you down there hollering about? Oh, you there to talk about me? Okay, let me give you something to talk about. Let's go back there. Let me let you go back. Let me give you something to really go down there and shout about. Some other people will like that.
Yeah.
Oh, you crying? Well, let me give you something to cry for.
Yeah.
So they did not think that what I was crying for warranted tears. It took my mind completely off whatever I was crying about. And made me realize when it just took me to a place where I just got to feel I don't want to cry. Crying is not really safe around here. They beat you to death. Shut up! Did I tell you to shut up? I'm shut up. Then I said be quiet. You gonna do it again? No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. All right, there. Well, you talking back there, huh? I don't want to be hanging with this guy at all. There's no kind of sense in this one. Tell me to shut up. I shut up. Are you gonna do it again? say the word. You can't hear now. My God. What is wrong with this man? Worth me going to a sermon sometimes. But that's the way it was. They talk you through it. They talk you through it. Because through the process, you just still being disobedient. Stop crying. Dry it up right now. How you going to just stop crying automatically? I said, shut it up right now. You find out a way to find breakthrough. They taught you self-control. You don't want to go here. You find a way to make it happen. Woo, boy, I tell you, y'all just don't know. Look at Deuteronomy 21:18. If a man has a stubborn and rebellious son who will not obey his father or his mother, and when they chastise him, he will not even listen to them, then his father and mother shall seize him. Both of them. Don't tell Dad, honey, you're going to take them there and there. Say, both of y'all seize him. You need them to know that you're in this together. And bring him out to the elders of his city, at the gateway of his hometown. They shall say to the elders of his city, this son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey us. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Don't get caught on glutton and drunkard. It's stubborn and rebellious is what you need to focus on, right? Then all the men of his city shall stone him to death. So you shall remove the evil from your midst, and all Israel will hear of it and fear it. Yeah. Woo! Y'all talk when you ain't got time for Jesus. See what God was doing before Jesus came on the scene? Some of y'all would have been stoned to death. Yeah. Before the city. He said, not secretly, before the city. But why did he say do that? I need to put fear in the rest of these children's heart. That if they think this is acceptable for me, from God, this is God talking now. God said, I don't play that at all. This is what you need to understand about disobedience children. God don't receive it for no reason. There's nothing that any parent can do to you that will lead you to be disobedient to your parents that is acceptable by God. Now, I don't know who you talk to that tell you that they shouldn't have did that or said that. Stay away from them. Stay away from them. Because there's nothing no worse than a disobedient, disrespectful child. And if you're still living as a disobedient child, you consider yourself blessed and highly favored. Blessed and highly favored. See, we used to be told by our parents, yeah, you can go somewhere with that mouth and somebody's going to mash your mouth for you. But you got too much mouth. Everybody don't love you like we do. And we know that when you carry yourself, there's a place in the world that you ain't going to make it. Yeah. You ain't going to keep no job. You ain't going to be able to keep no relationships. Because it's all about you. And they were giving me good advice. And as I got older, yeah, they were right. There were some people that didn't care how big I was. Or how much of a man I thought I was. Because there were others out there that thought that they was just as much man and just as big. And had no problem with introducing themselves to me any kind of way that I wanted to be introduced. Amen. So talking loud to them want to answer. Raising my voice want to answer. Sticking my chest out, threatening was the answer. They were like, when are we going to stop talking? Do I need to come and instigate this? And we'll come over and just initiate it for you. Only for you to realize, like, hey, man, ain't no fighting me, man. I'm good. I've never been to that place, but I saw some guys go to that place, all right? Because I kept my mouth shut. Because I was already the biggest thing in school, so there was always somebody wanted to fight me in school. So I learned, you know what? Walk small, stay small. Don't become a threat to nobody. Boy wrote me a letter, he says, Dear Curtis, I hate you. He was liking some girl he thought I liked. I was just friends. Dear Curtis, I hate you. Curtis, I will kill you. I will cut you. I will beat you up, Curtis. This was the crazy part. Curtis, I love you. So I like you. I will not hurt you. I will not. But Curtis, I will kill you. She teased me about that letter up until today. This is how insane you are as children. Yeah. You don't have a clue what's going on. You just being used and your mouth just working. You don't know why. It just opens up and starts to spew out all this nonsense. But see, those are the things that made me realize that I don't want this. And the kicker was, I told these boys that I had filled this girl's legs or did something. She was like a senior in high school or something. And we all rode the same bus this time. She got off the bus that day, got ready to get off. Before she got off the bus, she said, "Oh, you been telling lies about what you been doing to me." Huh? She was a sister too. Just like that. She went to me. She went to me and she went to me bad. She beat me down on that school bus. She beat me down on the school bus. I said from that day I will never tell a lie about anything I did with anyone. Matter of fact, from this point forward, I will keep all my business to myself. I saw her last year at Denny's. I looked at her like, she was familiar. She saw me looking at her and I was like, she said, "Yeah, that's me, Curtis." I said, "Girl, I thought it was you." But I wanted to be sure. I said, "Do you remember?" "Yeah, I remember the school bus. Yeah, I remember. Do you remember?" "Yeah, I said that's no real lie." I had to learn early, y'all. I had to learn. My parents was telling me that mouth is going to get you in trouble. It's going to write a check that your bottom can't cash. I have never told my personal business to anybody, anyone with anything since then. That's not one of my bragging topics. Yeah. She beat me down. I was just about 5th, 6th, 7th grade, something like that. In high school and elementary, going to school together. And she was pretty, she was dark skinned and pretty, boy. I was like, yeah. Hey, you know how guys be talking. "Oh yeah, man, I did whatever." And they went back and told me. She said, "Oh, you telling lies?" She was big too. She was fat, but she was solid. Yeah, she was solid. They didn't give me a chance to do that because I was in the back seat. She just came across and said that. You would never know I learned so young. But that's what we're trying to tell you, young people. Because, listen, y'all, God doesn't play that. He was preparing me to be able to trust the counsel that my parents had gave me. These are things I had to learn personally because of where I thought I was in my mind. The world let me know quick, "Hey, man, there's people out here just as bad as you." Some a lot worse than you. You don't even want to even look at them. And I learned to recognize them when I saw I don't give them eye contact. Not even to the day. And what's the trouble? I don't need them to ask me no questions.
Right.
What you looking at?
That's right.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was actually looking over there, but I'm so sorry. Why?
On right on that.
I ain't trying to fight nobody.
That's right.
I ain't trying to prove nothing to nobody. I'm trying to survive and enjoy life.
Amen.
Exodus 21:17. He who curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. Now this is God talking. Doesn't necessarily mean you will die right now, but you will somewhere in your life have to pay the consequences of your behavior. So growing up with parents, God requires children to honor as well as obey their parents. They must esteem them and think honorably of them, as the obedience of their lives must proceed from the esteem and opinion of their mind. Not just with the outward service. In your mind and your heart, you have to have the same show of respect and esteem. You lift them up high. because you really have to understand the important role of them being in your life. So what is the benefit of children obeying their parents? Look at Proverbs chapter 1. Young people, you should read the book of Proverbs. I mean, it's got so much great information that really impacted my life as I started to explore adulthood. Proverbs 1, 8 through 33. Hear, my son, your father's instruction, and do not forsake your mother's teaching. Indeed, they are a graceful wreath to your head and ornaments about your neck. My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. If they say, come with us, let us lie in wait for blood. Let us ambush the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them alive like Sheol, even whole as those who go down to the pit. We will find all kinds of precious wealth. We will fill our houses with spoil. Throw in your lot with us. We shall all have one purse. My son, do not walk in the way with them. Keep your feet from their path, for their feet run to evil, and they hasten to shed blood. Indeed, it is useless to spread a baited net in the sight of any bird, but they lie in wait for their own blood. They are ambushed their own lives. So are the ways of everyone who gains by violence and takes away the life of his possessor. Children, don't you know when you're being disobedient to your parents, you're practicing and operating in the spirit of violence, spirit of destruction? And what's so sad, but you don't realize, you're just painting your own path for your own future. This is the thing you must understand. You have to understand that as children, you are being prepared for life. And the way that you're living at home is the life that you establish for after you leave home. The very things you're going to have to deal with. Proverbs 4:1. You read the rest of the other one. Hear, O sons, the instruction of a father, and give attention that you may gain understanding. We know you think you know everything, but this is the time of life you're supposed to be gaining true understanding. It is your parents' responsibility to lead you into that understanding. Not your teacher, not your neighbor, not your friend, not the TV, not YouTube, not the music. It's your parents. Understanding. It's one thing to have information, but it's not till you get to the clear understanding of what you know that you become real comfortable with it and you're able to articulate it and speak it to yourself and others in a way that makes sense, that can lead to some kind of outcome. And this is what you have to understand as children. Proverbs 5, 1 through 23, it says, my son, give attention to my wisdom, incline your ear to my understanding, that you may observe discretion, and your lips may reserve knowledge. For the lips of an adulteress drip honey, and smoother than oil is her speech. But in the end, she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold of Sheol. She does not ponder the path of life. Her ways are unstable. She does not know it. Unstable. And don't even know you're unstable, right? You think you got it going on. Wow. That's how bad it is. When you don't even, everybody telling you you're jacked up that really know you, but you can't see it. And they become your enemies because they tell you the truth. They just ganging up on you, right? They just trying to mess with you. You want you to be this old whatever, right? Now then, my sons, listen to me and do not depart from the words of my mouth. Keep your way far from her and do not go near the door of her house. Now he's talking about that one that's trying to seduce you into sexual relationships. He says stay away from her. And let's face it, if you're a teenager, that's one of the number one things on your mind. If you think nobody don't know it, but you're sadly mistaken, it's just the road. The key is to get off. Amen. As quick as possible. You can act all nice and churchy, and all lovey-dovey and innocent, but we know you're nothing but a burning inferno. And we're not going to let her burn. We're going to put her out. Some you have to snatch out the fire. Hate even the garments that filthy garment. You got to like, ugh.
Yeah, man.
It's like somebody with AIDS. You know AIDS is contagious, right? Yeah. But he says it's like you just got to snatch them out anyway.
Yeah.
Fearing even the garments that they, look, it didn't say if they wanted to.
Yeah.
He said you got to snatch them out the fire. Now God wouldn't tell you to snatch them out if you couldn't snatch them out. So young people, you can snatch. Why? Because we got work to do. And we need to understand what that work is. Teenagers, you actually think God has left you on your own? Are you serious? There's no one that he leaves on their own. You can say you're grown or you want God with that whole thing. They actually think, there we know what grown is. Grown just means I can turn up the heat a lot hotter. That's all grown means. Because I prepared the mind to handle it.
Yeah.
See, that's why we have to understand. God said, he got this. Now then, my sons, listen to me and do not depart from the words of my mouth. Keep your way far from her and do not go near the door of her house. Or you will give your vigor, your vitality to others, and your years to the cruel. He's talking about your life. As you get older, you would have gave away your vitality, your vigor. You see them all the time, right? You see your parents, you might see some of your parents' classmates with them like, my God, they went to school with you. My God. What happened to them?
Yeah, right.
They were like you one day.
Yeah.
They didn't get off.
Yeah.
I got off early. I got off early.
Yeah, right.
I got some brothers, my partner that used to roll with me, I used to tell y'all about. He's taking dialysis 3 days a week now. He's on all sorts of medication. He wouldn't get off when I got off. Look, I was like, man, that's where you would hit it.
Yeah.
Thank God I got off at 27.
Yes.
I got off at 27. This jugger's still 40 something, still trying to roll. Now body trying to shut down on me.
Yeah.
And we were the epitome of athleticism. All we did was play ball and have fun. I just got tired and got off. And I got all these guys that used to run with me that's still on and they get off. Be in bad shape, y'all. But they still think they having fun. Man, guess I'm like, are you serious? You what? How old are you? Haven't grown up. They still on that road where they think they're supposed to do what they want to do and just continue killing themselves. And they said men come to their senses around 25. Around 25, I was asked the question, man, this is not what I had planned for my life. I had opportunities to go to college, to play sports, to go into the NFL. I had some of the greatest jobs that you would ever want for. You know, you realize something's wrong somewhere along the way. Like, you know, this ain't right, man. I'm 25. And God was able to get through. Because there was enough instilled in me that had faded away. And God was able to bring me in. And that reading of the Bible, he was preparing me for that process as he was bringing me to the place, to the end of myself. And that's what we're pleading with you young people about. And I know, like I said, it's the first time with everything. And, you know, it looks so enticing and inviting. But most things that kill you look like that. Some of your deadliest snakes have some of the prettiest colors, and the average person that don't know will walk up and try to grab one. Everything in our life. You know, the best tasting foods are the things that'll kill you quicker than anything else.
That's it.
And that's usually the case. God says that appetite doesn't ever get filled. So the principle. Obeying your parents sets the foundation for abundant living for the rest of your life. Ephesians 6, 1 through 3. Children, obey your parents because you belong to the Lord. Not because they told you so, not because it's the right thing to do, but because you belong to the Lord. For this is the right thing to do. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise. Your first command from God comes with a promise. If you honor your father and mother, things will go well for you, and you will have a long life on the earth. How many of y'all want a long life on the earth? Raise your hand. You can go and do it, teenagers. I know you're rebelling. I know you ain't ready. Like, go on, raise your hands. Don't be in rebellion. Go on, raise your hands. Don't let the enemy get you like that. Teenagers, get your hands up. Come on now. Because if you don't raise your hand, God said, you tired of living? Now, He's going to fix that for you.
Got a hand down here.
Get that hand up in there and say, see, I want you to fight this beast. Get it up in there so I can see it. Just do it's the right thing to do, teenagers. Come on now. This is what love does, baby. We love you too much. Hey, listen. So you're guilty. You don't have to stay. Right? And what God told Cain, he said, look, Cain, why is your countenance falling? Don't you know that if you do what's right, things will go well for you?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, that's all it takes, baby. Just do what's right. Look, it's behind you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't dare tell y'all all the stuff I've done. You ain't close. You ain't even in the ballpark. You haven't even got in the position that I might think about that.
Man.
So don't you let the enemy make you feel bad about anything in your life and think you in some kind of place where somebody's just picking on you. Girl, you can't come close to Curtis.
Amen.
There's some stuff that I would not dare tell anybody regardless of what God tells me.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
I told God, I said, God, look, this
I
is
shared it with my wife.
now, this is just between you and me. Now, ain't nobody else need to know this. I'm going to do what I need to do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do everything I can to prevent anybody from thinking like this. But I just ain't there yet. If there's a place where I need to get there, I need to tell you, you ain't done it yet.
Yeah.
And so this is what I'm trying to get y'all to understand, baby. This is why I do more as you go. There's a place that you think you went somewhere bad now. Wait till you get grown and you ain't got nobody to tell you what to do.
Yes.
Look, I went to some dark places. I look back sometimes like, how did that happen?
Yes. That's it.
I can't see me in my normal way of thinking
Yes.
doing that. I thought that was you.
Hey.
You can't pretend that didn't happen.
That was you, yeah.
That was you, man. And you ashamed to even think about it. Don't let tell somebody.
Yep, exactly. Yep, that's it. Man.
I don't even want to be reminded, but I have to constantly be reminded sometimes. Because whenever you think you've gotten too all high mighty, remember, at any given situation, the right circumstances, you go beyond the limits. You surprise yourself. So that's why I seek to stay on the path, because I know this fallen nature will do some things if given a chance. He says this is the first commandment with a promise. You will have long days and good life. And this is the thing about God. It ain't never too late to get it right. He said, don't you know, Satan is at the door waiting on you, Curtis. He's hoping that you don't get this right today. He said, what Curtis going to do? He looked like he mad and upset. I can just keep him right there. Till this moment in time pass, I got him. When the God tells me I need to apologize to my wife, and I be trying to figure out a reason why I ain't going to apologize, I'm your pastor. Hey, look. Now, how you going to make that right? How you going to make that right? My wife said something to another week. I forgot what I said, but I said something crazy. I forgot what it was. You know, I was sitting there like, you know that. How did that come out your mouth? Why do you say that?
Yeah.
You got to apologize. Oh, God. You got to apologize. Now, he's like, are you serious? You're sorry. I said you sorry. Were you wrong? Yeah. Did you say it in the right spirit? No. So what's the big fight about? Help me, Jesus. Because the pride, like, why you get us in this situation anyway? Your smart self. Thank you, Lord. I'm in charge, man. I'm in charge here. We're going to do this. Why? It's the right thing to do. So I had to gather myself. I had to take control. And I was like, oh, man, when I'm going to do it? Just take control. One step at a time. Take control. Just get this thing under control. Get it right. Just got it right. And, you know, a few minutes went on and she happened to walk back through the house. I was sitting at the table like... Okay. Listen, the day we were out there fixing up the gutters. That's she came out to help me. It was a 3-man job. I called her out to help me, and I was trying to get one end up, and it was like 35 feet long, so you know how soft gutters are, right? So I was getting it out. I said, hey, Connie, come out here. I need you to help me. Get right here and hold it in the middle. So she comes out like, I'm just like, the gutter is facing the house, right? She's facing this way. She said, the gutter is facing that. She said, which way you want me to turn? Okay. Oh, the gutter's behind you. It's like, so, okay, she grabs and puts up in it, flips and it turns and it bends and it falls down. It's like, oh, I ruined my gutters. Can't you just follow instructions? I did what you told me. No, you didn't. I told you to just hold it. I didn't tell you to try to figure out what it's going to work upon. See, what I'm doing what you told me to do. I see she kind of hurt now, right? So she said, well, you take more than one away. Well, just go back in the house. Just go back in the house. I got it. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Like, I don't know it's a 4-man. Okay. I know it's a 4-man job, but I'm going to make it work. Because I don't have 4 men, all right? That's what I'm telling myself, yeah, right? So just go back in the house. I got it. I don't need you. I got it. So I go back and I said, like, how you going to fix something like this? You know, I'm like, I'm going to make this happen. So I go there and I put my ladder up there. I put it up on the ladder. I put the ladder there and put it up. I'm like, man, how do I make this work? I got some chairs stacked where I had her at, right? If I could just get one end up, I'm good. So I get one end up. They're like, I got it now. So I try to put the rest of it like, can't do this by yourself, buddy. You definitely gonna need help now. Because you got that end bolted in, and you trying to lift it up right here where it needs to go at. It ain't gonna go because there's too much weight down there. You definitely gonna bend it and crease it.
Yeah.
Hey, Connie, can you come out here and help me? She don't hear me, right? She don't hear me, so I'm like, I'm gonna make this work. Let me see you. I don't want to be messing with her. She can't follow instructions. I'm gonna make this work. I put some other stuff under there, like, hey man, you need some help, man. But if you put her right there, you can get it up. Hey, Connie! Now she got her head up in the TV. She can't hear a word I'm saying. Connie! Yeah, what? Come out here. I need your help again. She comes out. I said, let me just grab it right here, right? And just lift it up right here. So I can get this thing up, put another boat in, right? So she comes in, I put it up, put the boat in, like, good. All right, that's heavy. I got it up. I'm ready. I'm on the roll. So I go in, get the other end up, put it down, get it up. And I'm like, man, whoa, I'm going to take me a break. Go in the house, eat, sit in the God like, you are something, boy. You piece of work. You had to go call her, didn't you? She's so good to you, man. Remind me of Paul and Bush. You know, she's so good to you, man. You got to call and say you need her help, right? Yeah. You told her you don't need her help. Go back in the house, right? You got to call her back like, you know you got to fix this. But God, I told her what to do. Curtis, she did the best she could. That wasn't the way to act. If that would have been anybody else, you'd have worked with them. Y'all would have got it together. And y'all would have worked with this thing, and it would have been a great. It could have been anybody else at the church or anybody. That would have been no problem. So what's the problem? All she had to do was follow instructions. Curtis, she's not mechanically inclined. All right? So, you're supposed to be understanding. You're supposed to be working with her to help bring the best out of her. Nothing you did brought no good out of her. Because I know she back there hurt. I know she was trying, because I saw her anxiousness to want to help me. And, just help me, and we do some things together. And I just, Lord was like, Curtis, why is your confidence falling? Satan, don't you know if you do what's right, things will go well. Satan is at the door, son, crouching, and he wants to master you here. He said, well, it shouldn't be. You should control it. Do what's right. Do the right thing. That was the right thing to do. And it gave the enemy no place. This is not a game, people. Young people, y'all understand. This goes on every single day.
Yes.
Well, the enemy said, this is the place I can get him at.
Yeah.
So he said, man, I can get him with his wife. Because he needs that superwoman. She can just tell her, she just jump on it and get it done. He said, if I gave you that, you would have never got fixed. You never thought you had a problem.
Wow.
But there's moments like this where you cannot deny your behavior. Did I yell at her? No. But I just said it in a tone that you knew.
Yeah.
I was not happy. And I was not satisfied. That God had allowed my day to turn out like this. When I had such a perfect plan when I started. So that's what we talk about, young people. There's constant places you have to grow to so God can show you yourself. That under the right circumstances, buddy, you just as jacked up as anybody else. And if you ain't grasped that yet, you in for a long, hard journey. And I don't want you to go that way. But if that's the way you have to go to get delivered, no, God, I'm going to tell her I'm sorry. And I'm going to mean this. Because I don't want to go through this no more. Now, I want to have a strong relationship. I want to have a strong family. I do. But, man, it's work. Because I have so much I have to overcome. These places where the enemy could use you not to be as effective as you want to be. The power of the believing parent, 1 Corinthians 7:14. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified through his wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified through her believing husband. For otherwise your children are unclean, but now they are sanctified. They are holy. Ain't that awesome? Ain't that awesome?
Yes.
That's awesome. They got power to deliver you to the Lord. And that's where you are with the Lord. That's why we don't get caught up in what you show us and all that stuff, because the enemy will want us to take that personally. See, we understand that it's a fight. We just want you to understand that it's a fight. And it's not you. If you were born into the family of God, born again believers, the children are holy, separated, set aside for God's use. And you have the authority and influence to influence them for Christ. You just got to recognize what that authority is, just like the husband has to recognize the authority that he has over his wife. You have to recognize as parents the authority that you have in your children's life. Don't get distracted with that foolishness that they put out there. Make it funny. Yeah, you struggling at you, baby. I know. Look at you. You can know what you need to do is good for you. And you just can't make yourself do it. I ain't doing it, man. I ain't doing it. That's a piece. If you think you're stronger than he, you got a lot to learn. You understand what I'm saying? God will allow you to do it your way. So you can know for sure. There's some things I used to believe I don't even want to think about no more. don't even want to think that that's an option. That this is going to be beneficial for me. And that's what this is about. What is going to be beneficial for you and what you want to do, what you want to accomplish in life, young people. Be obedience to your parents. Reaping and sowing. A lot of adults are still struggling in life because of their disobedience to their parents growing up. Unfortunately, just like when they were home, they are still blaming others for their misfortunes. The same issues that they had at home, they still have today. Parents, are you having the same struggles with your children that your parents had with you? Things that you were struggling with at home. Couldn't follow authority, couldn't submit. You're going to do it your own way. Are you still trying to do it your own way, parents? That might be why your children are struggling with the same thing. You know, you see this domino, this thing right here? These are dominoes, right? Yeah. So he's pushed down the dominoes to his left. What's going to happen? Yeah, what goes around comes around, right? You reap what you sow. That's where we are a lot of times. We don't realize the action that we are portraying comes with some repercussion. That's why God said, God is not mocked. Whatever a man sows, that's what he's going to reap. Hey, God teaches you. One way or the other.
Yeah.
And so a lot of us as adults, we have to look at our lives and ask ourselves, am I struggling with my children the same struggle that my parents had with me? Because you're going to learn that lesson. You're going to submit one way or the other. These are the questions you have to ask yourself. This is why this is so important as we're learning this, because what you sow is what you reap. What goes around comes around. Some people call it karma. I just call it life. Because God's trying to teach us something. And that's why you have to really be aware, young people. What you are doing today at home, you are setting a foundation for your life once you get grown. I don't know where it finds you, but I really hope it finds you challenged with the truth. The truth. It's just God's opportunity of saying, look, I want better for you. I want a better life for you. He doesn't want to punish you. He wants you to enjoy the life that you want, that you think the world has a better offer. It doesn't. Go to hear some music. I want you to think about what was said today, young people, children, and understand that disobedience to your parents, you are setting your life for the future, regardless of what you've done.